In today's video, I'll be sharing what I think is going to replace VIPER. Hello coaster lovers. So there are a lot of outdated rides out there. The one coaster that I think of when it comes to dying coasters is VIPER at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is the only Aero Mega Looper left in operation, and it's been rumored to close for years. So let's have fun and say the coaster got torn down, so there has to be a replacement for that plot where VIPER stood, and that is what this video is about. So before we hop in with one of 6 coaster models that I would love to see replace VIPER, we have an honorable mention to discuss, and this is what enthusiasts would love to see here at Magic Mountain, which is a B&M Giga Coaster. Why I put this as an honorable mention is because it just doesn't feel right without mentioning a Giga Coaster to replace one of Magic Mountain's coasters, but a Giga Coaster would cover a gap in their coaster lineup. The park could use the nearby terrain and the perimeter to create a Fury-style layout. It would just fit so well into their lineup. But there's only one caveat to this prediction. Recently, new homes were being built next to Magic Mountain, so noise might be a problem, and that's a big reason why this is an honorable mention. But enough chit chat. Let's start the list off with a coaster that makes a ton of sense here at Magic Mountain, a B&M dive. Doesn't matter if it's a small scale dive coaster like Emperor down the road at SeaWorld San Diego, or a hyper dive like Yukon Striker up at Canada's Wonderland, Magic Mountain would really benefit from a dive coaster. It would have that vertical drop as the main marketing pull, and after that, it can feature a dynamic layout with some inversions, some airtime pops, and maybe a splashdown like Diamondback or Sheikra would round out the layout. This is probably the most likely option, but I wouldn't say any of these predictions are unlikely. But the second model that I think can eventually replace VIPER is an Intamin water coaster. When you really think about it, Magic Mountain doesn't have a lot of water rides. They got Jetstream, their Log Flume, and the Rapids, but that's pretty much it. And this is completely different from any other ride at the park. We know Six Flags is working with Intamin with Georgia Surfer over at Six Flags Over Georgia, and I would also love seeing something like Georgia Surfer here at Magic Mountain, but not in the VIPER plot, just somewhere else in the park. But back to the water coaster, this would benefit their water ride lineup a ton, along with their coaster lineup. They got nothing to compare to it. And since the plot is next door to Magic Mountain Parkway, the elevator lift can be shown off in its glory. This would also make sense here, but just make it a little more compact than Divertical at Mirabellandia or Speed at Energylandia. The third coaster we got to discuss is very similar to Georgia Surfer like I mentioned earlier, and we're sticking with the water theme with a mock Power Splash. We have seen another Power Splash open not too long ago with Aquaman at Six Flags Over Texas, and I checked on Google Earth. From VIPER's final turn to the turn before the Batwing, it measures 800 feet long, then it measured Aquaman's length and it's 550 feet, so they can use 250 feet for something else, maybe a big area for switchbacks or cattle pens, or maybe another flat ride. But onto the reasons why I think it makes sense here. Of course, they need another water ride, and this would also be different from anything in the park's coaster lineup. Superman is the closest comparison you got to a mock Power Splash, but it's not even remotely close. And it's also SB&O. The only caveat is capacity, so if they just add a turntable like on Aquaman, that would be great. This would also look cool in the skyline for Magic Mountain. And our fourth coaster model, this is probably the most least likely option, but let's have fun and say a mock extreme spinner is going to replace VIPER. To start off this discussion, this would fill in the spinner gap in their lineup. The only thing that is holding this back from a really realistic choice is cost. Ride of Happiness over at Plopsaland costs nearly $18.5 million, so it's going to be a huge investment. Not for the park, but as for the whole chain. And this would easily dethrone Twisted Colossus or X2 as the park's new standout coaster. I would love to see a layout similar to Ride of Happiness, but a little more compact here. But as for realism, it's not the most realistic option, but this is a coaster enthusiast dream video, not a prediction video. It would fit here at Magic Mountain so well. As for the fifth coaster model, we're seeing more of these pop up, but as of right now when this video is published, aka 2024, there's only one of these type of coasters, and I'm referring to a Vekoma Tilt coaster. We're seeing a lot more of these getting announced, such as Siren's Curse over at Cedar Point, and one of the reasons why this would fare so well is because of marketing. These type of coasters are one of the most marketable coasters out there, and it can hold the title as California's first tilt coaster, and you can see the tilt mechanism right behind X2. That would get people to go to the parking gate. This can feature a layout similar to Siren's Curse, where it has many airtime pops and inversions. We are seeing a lot of new gen Vekomas opening up in North America in the years to come, so I can see Magic Mountain eventually hopping on the Vekoma train and debuting a tilt coaster. And as for the last coaster model, we just need more of these types of coasters, not in America, but everywhere, and it would also fit here, and it's an Intamin mega coaster. When you really think about it, there aren't many modern Intamin mega coasters at the parks. You do have Conda and Hyperion, and there are some in China, but that's it. Maybe something like Conda but with a different layout would work wonders for Magic Mountain. They haven't seen anything like it besides Hollywood Drift. And also, wouldn't it be crazy where the lift hill would be the same direction as VIPER's and have a 180-degree twisted drop like Hyperia? That would be insane. As for realism, it's also not the #1 most realistic coaster, but it's not as unlikely as the Extreme Spinner. It would be amazing seeing another type of coaster model like this open in the the US, and it's also completely different from any other ride in the park. So I want to hear from you guys, what type of coaster would you like to replace VIPER? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And if you enjoy my content, you can go subscribe to show your support. There will be a brand new video coming out in the next 5 days, so make sure to keep that adrenaline pumping, and I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving.